Okay, so in this video we will be solving problem number 7, where we have to print leader elements in an array. So we're taking example. Let's say we have an array called A, integer array, 16, 17, 4, 3, 5, 2. So this is our array of elements. So leader elements in the sense, if the current element is bigger than all of it right side elements, then it is called 16. So in our case 16, we have 16 in the beginning, so we'll be comparing 16 with right side of, we compare all of it right side elements. So we have 17 here, so 17 is bigger than 16, so 16 is not a leader element. And then we jump to the next element, which is 17. We compare all the right side elements from this position. So there is no element bigger than 17, so 17 is leader element. So we jump to the next element, 4. We have 5 here, so 4 is not a bigger element. 4 is not a leader element. And the next element is 3. We will skip it because we have 5 here. We will be printing 5 because 5 is greater than number 2. And we also print 2 because by default the last element is always going to be leader element. We can solve this solution by using 2 for loops. So one for loop starts from, outer for loop starts from current element, and then inner for loop starts from next element to current element and loop through the entire array. So while comparing this, while traversing, each time I will compare the value of inner elements to the outer element, so which is 16. So if there is any number which is greater than 16, we don't print anything. But if 16 is bigger, then we will be printing at the end. So the solution by using 2 for loops is going to be big of n square, because we will be traversing each list twice in worst case, and space complexity is going to be big of n. So to optimize this solution, I'm thinking to traverse from the reverse order. So basically in a reverse order, what we will be doing is, like, by defaultly we will be printing number 2, because as we discussed, the last element is always going to be leader element. And then we compare this element, current element, to its previous element. So if previous element is bigger than the current element, we will be printing that previous element, and we change the variables. Previous element equal to current element, previous element equal to current element, and then we compare the current element with the previous element to see if it is a bigger or lower. So in this case 5 is bigger than 3, so which is current element is bigger than previous element, so we will be ignoring this one, so we don't change any variables here. And then we compare with the next element, 4. Even then we don't change any variables here because 4 is less than the 5. So then we compare with 17. So here we change it again. We change the variables again, and then we repeat the process until we have till we complete the traversing. So to find the solution, we'll be traversing the list in a reverse order. So before that I need few variables. So one is current element. Current element is gonna be a of length a minus 1. So I will be printing current element So now I will be using a for loop for I in range. So I'll be traversing from the reverse, so that too I don't have to take this one as an example. So I'll have to traverse from the second number from the last. So what I'm gonna do is, okay, I will take another example, another variable, so which is gonna be holding length of a minus 1. Okay, let me write it again. So I'll be taking one. So what I'm gonna do is b equal to length of a minus 1, and then we take current element ce equal to a of b. So a of b is now holding number 2. Now I will be traversing the list for I in range. Like I said, we are not traversing from here, we are traversing from number 5. So which is gonna be b minus 2. So we don't need any step increments. We are doing in reverse order, so we keep minus 1. So now we have to compare a current element with the previous element. So now we change previous element equal to a of I, right? So a of I now is at 5. So now we will be using a if clause. If current element, if previous element is greater than current element, we will be changing it. Current element equal to previous element, right? We will print current element. So by default we will be printing number 2. Yeah, so current element equal to p of e, and then we print p of e here. So this is like pretty much solution. So if we see example, we will be traversing from 2. So in the first case we will be printing 2 for I in a range b minus 2. So it is traversing from number 5. We are not incrementing any steps, so I mentioned 0. We are doing in a reverse order, so I'm mentioning minus 1. So now p of e equal to a of I. So in this case, this is the one. So if previous element is greater than current element, so our current element is number 2. So if previous element is greater than, if 2 is greater than 5, I'll be changing previous element equal to current element, and then I'm printing number 5. So we'll be printing 5 as well. We should print here, print current element, and then we move on to the element 3. We move on to the element 3. We'll check with so now current element is holding 5. So previous element is 3 in this case. So it will compare with previous element is not greater than current element. So we don't change any variables here. We'll jump to next element. So if we do the same process, it will be printing number 17 as well. So this will be we are just traversing only once. So the time complexity is going to be big of n, space complexity is going to be big of n, because we're not using any extra space other than these variables.